up right now about hitting your goal? Who in here is pumped up right now about having your victory? Who in here is pumped up right now about getting to a day? Who in here is pumped up right now about getting $1 million ring? Who in here knows that you are going to be on the stage? Who's going to be a leader of an army? Who's going to be free?
Hi, my name's Chris Jones. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been an internet marketer for almost 8 years. And the Empower Network was something that I didn't see coming. In fact, I fought the company for a year because I didn't get it. When I see flip-flops and tank tops, I ran the other direction. And I have to tell you, this is a life-changing company, and I'm proud to be part of the Empower Network.
Wow. Wow. What do you think, Chris? What do you think of these guys? You know, Chris couldn't be here today, so we decided to bring him in cardboard form. He's lost a little bit of weight. He always kind of was a small guy. But a lot of you know us as the Chris and Chris team. This is the first time I've been up here. Chris is usually kind of the front man of what we do. And I got to tell you, this is scary stuff. It's scary being up here, right? I mean, I'm used to sitting down here with my peers, watching the other guys talk, and now I'm just thinking to myself, wow, this is scary. But what's even more scary is 10 o'clock last night, Jerry said, Chris, you're going to get up and speak. That was scary. So I was sitting in the shower this morning doing my hair, thinking, what on earth am I going to talk about that you guys haven't already heard? Because to follow that act, I'll tell you what, let's give a round of applause for that. So, a lot of you don't know my background or my story, and I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned because I've done a lot of stuff wrong. And not necessarily wrong, but I've gone down other paths when the simpler path was right in front of me, and the people around me saying, Chris, just do the simple stuff, do the simple stuff. I said, no, I want to do the hard stuff, and guess what happened to my income? Right? How many of you have experienced that? You make things much too difficult than it really is. All right? This is a hard business, you guys. This is a tough business. You got to work a couple hours a day, place some ads, do some videos, and sit back and watch what happens. Right? Right? It's the simple actions that, that equal the big results. So it's funny because I find myself in this position throughout my whole life. If I look back, I see patterns. When I was in high school, I was a diver, you know, a springboard diver. And I used to sit on top of the springboard and I'd wear a Speedo in front of a couple hundred people, and that was scary, all right? I graduated high school, I moved to Asia, and I was studying kickboxing professionally out there, and I was in a ring with another guy that wanted to kick my head off. That was scary, all right? So, all right, I dealt with that, and I got back to the US, and I got into bodybuilding, and I did a few bodybuilding shows, and again, I was on stage in a Speedo in front of 1,000 people. Don't worry, I don't have a Speedo on, you guys. That was really scary. And now here I am. But you know, the great part about this is I've been where all of you have been and where you are now. I started there, and I'm going to tell you my story, and I think some of you are going to identify with, say, you know what, I've been where you've been. You know, I think I'm in the same place. And so I want to help you identify that it's all about the journey, it's all about doing the simple things, because when I graduated high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be successful. I had that fire inside, that fight inside, you know, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I moved to Asia and I studied martial arts, and I was very good at what I did, but I realized that I couldn't do that when I was 50 years old. So I moved back to Minnesota. I went to the University of Minnesota. Midwesterners. Go Vikings, that's right. Go AP. I love it. So moved back to Minnesota, went to college because that was the right thing to do, right? I was told, go get a job, go get an education, and I wanted to go work for the FBI. That was kind of my thing. I want to go into investigation. So I studied criminology for 2 years. Post 9/11, I got a job offer from Homeland Security. I said, this is my foot in the door, and I worked for the government for almost 2 years. Thought that was it. That was my place in the world, but it was not even close. I'll tell you what, the government wasn't my thing. So I dropped everything, again, took a 90-degree turn in my life, and I moved out to Miami, Florida. And yeah, awesome place to live, mind you. And I said, you know what, I want to be wealthy. I want to have more wealth in my life because I was pretty broke. And so I got into finance, and I worked at a big financial firm there in Boca Raton, Florida, and I had a lot of money. I lived on the beach. I had the sports cars in my early 20s, but I'll tell you what, I hated my life. I hated my life because I was selling investments to people, and people were losing money, and I was that guy, and I didn't like being that guy. And I remember it was a turning point in my life where I went into the office one day, and one of the clients I had invested about $250,000 in an investment, and he lost it in 2 days, gone. So I go to my boss, I said, what do I tell this guy? What do I do? He said, Chris, you got to ask him for more money. I said, I can't do that. You know what he said? There's the door. Guess what I did? I walked out the door. All right? So, all right, that's okay, but that was pretty darn scary because now I don't have an income again. So what am I going to do? So I dropped everything, sold everything I had, moved back to Minnesota where my roots were. I said, you know what, if I'm going to work this hard for someone else and be this stressed out, I'm going to do it for myself. And I read the book, Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich. How many of you read that? Right? Changed my paradigm, changed my mind about everything. So, you know, all of a sudden everything seemed easy because I started to understand how wealthy people and successful people thought. And so I'm going to tell you, I was broke for 4 years. 4 years broke, worse than I was in college, all right? Because I believed in the vision. I was very uncomfortable. So my point of the story to you is you have to get uncomfortable, okay? Some of you right now are behind the 8 ball. You had to kind of go out of your way or get uncomfortable to get here, right? How many of you made an uncomfortable decision to be here? Yeah. Absolutely, but that is what you have to do sometimes to be successful. And if you don't get uncomfortable, like I don't like being on stage necessarily, besides being in a Speedo, but I do it. And I love doing it because I know the byproduct of that is self-growth, self-worth, inspiration, inspiring other people, and then of course the money follows. Okay? So obviously, I was broke for 4 years, and I was online one day. In fact, I'm going to tell a story because a gentleman's here who changed my life. And it was 2005. I was broke. I was trying to figure things out. I owed this guy $2,000, and I said, you know, I need another $2,000 because I want to start this internet thing. This is back in 2005. And so I sold everything I could on Craigslist, and I paid him back the $2,000. Ron Maurer, you're in here. I love you, brother. And I paid him back. And I said, man, I need another $2,000. But you know what he did? Didn't even ask a question. He handed it over. Right? I want to make sure I paid him back before I asked for that money. But that $2,000 I turned into $11,000 that month on the internet. So technically I made $11,000 in 4 years. All right, so it wasn't too good. All right? I had a lot of debt to make up, a lot of ground to make up. But I'll tell you, the next month, double. Next one after that, triple, quadruple. I've had 6-figure months. I've had $500,000 months in this industry, all right? So, all right, this is all great, right? Chris, you have all this success and you're doing so well. And I had my biggest competitor, who's this guy. This guy was my biggest competitor, Chris Campbell. We were on Google, Chris and Chris, fighting for #1 and #2 on Google. You know, we were always nice to each other, but we're like, gosh, he's always kicking my butt on Google. You know, he's taking my business. And so it was 2010, Chris and I said, you know what? Maybe we should put our heads together and do something bigger. Do something better, right? And you have to check your ego to say something like that because we're both successful in our own right. But we said, you know what? Let's do something to help people in a different way. And so we did. Late 2010, we came together. We hit the ground running. We built this massive business. And we said, you know what? We need some salespeople to close more sales. And so this is where lesson number 10,000 came in, all right? Chris and I said, you know, we have all these leads coming in. We need to open a call center. Anybody know what one of those are? Yeah, don't ever touch those, all right? We opened a call center, and things were great. We were making all this money, and we had 80-some employees, 3 offices, 2 in Arizona, 1 in Indianapolis. We're doing all these great things. We're thinking, man, we can take this company public. We're doing awesome. All of a sudden, the bottom fell out. And it was 3 days before Christmas in 2011 We found out that money was being swindled under the table. There was a lot of theft. We booked an overnight flight to Arizona, brought in the police, and hauled everybody out. That was a rough day. We had a U-Haul ready, hauled everything out, sold everything we had, and said, you know what, we're going to go back to what we're good at, right? We made it more complicated than we needed to. Okay, the lesson learned here is we didn't need a call center. We just needed to do more of what we do, right? Everybody talks about, oh, is this saturated or is this going to be saturated? You guys, that's nonsense. You know what, there's so much business to go around, and when we realized that, our business exploded. Exploded. Look at Portugal over here. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. And that's just the beginning. They're going to have half the auditorium next time. You know? Germany, Japan. You guys, this is the beginning of something so big beyond us. And I'm going to tell you something. I thought when we joined this company December 2011, we said, okay, Empower Network came across our desk. It looked stupid. I'm going to be honest with you, Dave and Dave, I love you, but flip-flops and tank tops contradicts everything I know that I was brought up to know. So we looked at Empower Network and said, hey, let's just try it, let's promote it. We made all this money. I think we were the top earners for a few months last year. We did really good, but I was fighting the company. I was like, oh, I don't want to put my face on this. I don't know what they're up to. These guys are wearing flip-flops. He's got funky-looking hair and he laughs weird. All right? I didn't know what to do. And so I just fought. I'm literally for a year, you guys. And even though we were making all this money, I still didn't get it. And you want to talk about perseverance? Last year, we lost our merchant when the company had the merchant problems. We had about $40,000 a month coming in. Okay? Gone overnight. Wiped out. So Chris and I stepped back for about 4 or 5 months and said, do we rebuild this? Do we do something else? Do we cry about it? What do we do? I got on the phone with David Wood and had a heart-to-heart with him and said, Dave, I need to know where you're going, why you're doing it, what's your vision? And when I got off that 2-day phone call, literally, I'll tell you what, we were all in times 10, all right? We were all in to the point where we said, you know what, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it 10 times bigger than what we did, and we're going to do some big things. So at the last event in Chicago, we merged forces with the Prosperity team. All right? Why? Chris and I could have built our own team, but why would we do that? When all these resources were there and all these great things were already there, we said we can build something even bigger and better. All right? So we did, and now we're building what I think is an awesome, awesome organization with some incredible people in leadership. And I got to tell you, Chris and I are so excited to be part of this company. And the point here is perseverance is the most important thing you can do in your business. Good days or bad days, the actions need to stay the same. Good days, write that down, you guys. Good days and bad days, because you're going to have them. The actions need to stay the same. If you're going to do an ad a day, do an ad a day. I don't care if you're not feeling well, if you got family issues, just make sure you're consistent because it's the simple actions. Those simple actions are what makes the difference in your business. All right? Stop straightening your stapler on your desk. The papers don't need to be neat. All right? Just do the simple stuff, and I'm telling you, your business will explode. And what you're going to find out here this weekend and things that are coming out, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be floored. All right? So I'm going to finish up with this one last thing. How many of you saw the new Superman movie this summer? Yes. Man of Steel, baby. Superman, he had an S on his chest, right? Didn't stand for Superman. What did it stand for? Hope. Hope, right? How many of you have hope right now? How many of you have hope in your future? Right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I have hope.
Folks, Obviously, the income examples discussed in this video are extraordinary. The income claims presented are not intended to serve as a guarantee of income. Instead, they're designed to give you an idea of what's possible. Success in this business requires leadership, hard work, and dedication. Since we want to help you make an informed decision, we've gone above and beyond with our income disclosure document. If you want to see the average earnings, please visit the page at www.empowernetwork.com/income.php.